Toastmasters, I want to talk tonight about the magic of consistent effort. This is a lesson that my father taught me. He was a champion marathoner, and he was also very successful as a magazine editor and an author. My father taught me that the secret to success is making consistent daily efforts towards your goal. At first, I thought this was a little bit simplistic. Of course, if you put in a lot of time at something, you're eventually going to make some progress toward it. But as I thought about it more and more, I've realized that consistent effort has benefits that are not immediately obvious. The first non-obvious benefit of consistent effort is that it solidifies your memory. As we all know, as human beings, we immediately start to forget things immediately after we learn them. That's actually healthy because most information isn't very important. The way to actually remember something is to review it repeatedly. That's why people use flashcards when they have a really difficult memorization challenge. When you work on your project every day, you're not just putting in the hours, you're also improving your memory of the information related to the project. Every big project has tons of small details. And if you stay away from the project for too long, you're going to start to forget those details. By coming back to the project every day and grappling with it, you're solidifying the information in your memory. The second benefit of consistent effort is about seeing the fine structure of the work. Let me give you an example about what I mean. Suppose you get inspired by your Berkeley Entrepreneurial Toastmasters Club to start a business. And this business is going to be allowing people to use their mobile phones to order pizzas from Cheeseboard, the famous Berkeley pizzeria, and have them delivered to their homes. Now, when you think about this project from a distance, it just seems like a massive blob of work. There's no differentiation in the different tasks. And this enormous blob of work is really intimidating and scary, not just because it's difficult, but because it's difficult in ways we don't understand. Now think about what happens when you start to work on the project every day. Instead of a huge blob of work, you can start to see the fine structure of how all the tasks relate to one another. You can see that you need to write some software, you need to hire some drivers, and you need to make some business arrangements with Cheeseboard. When you start to see the fine structure, it becomes less intimidating. Another really important aspect of fine structure is that you can start making progress during moments of your day that would otherwise be wasted. Say you have an hour-long daily bus commute. It's usually pretty difficult to use that time effectively. Most people end up just reading a book, listening to a podcast, or just zoning out. If you know the fine structure of your project, you can identify small tasks and accomplish those tasks during your commute or other pieces of downtime. Maybe you can do some testing of your mobile app. Maybe you can make a business arrangement with pizzeria that's going to solve some problem. Sometimes you can even make progress, important progress, just by thinking about the project. Suppose you have 15 minutes every day where you walk to the coffee shop to get your morning coffee. 15 minutes is a good block of time. You can have important insights about the project while you're just walking along. Some people get really good benefits from thinking about their work in the shower. Some people even claim that they can have important insights when they're sleeping. All of these scenarios, it's an absolute requirement that you're in close contact with the work and you can see its fine structure. The third benefit is about psychological momentum. The famous comedian Jerry Seinfeld had a unique work habit, which was that he would keep a calendar. And every day that he successfully wrote a good joke, he would put a red check mark into the calendar. The reason he did this is that after a couple of weeks and months of writing, he had several pages in the calendar full of red marks that reflected back to him his own progress. That is really important because some days it's really hard to write a good joke. In any difficult project, some days you're just going to feel like you're not making any progress. And these days are really dangerous because this is when the temptation to quit is the strongest. The work seems impossibly big. It feels like you haven't made good progress. So maybe it's better to just give up. That's when you look at your calendar and see the red check marks that reflect back to you the progress you made over the previous days and weeks. And that reminds you that all you have to do today is the same thing you've done on all the previous days, which is to take a single step forward. Friends, I hope I've convinced you of the magic of consistent effort. It has three important benefits. It solidifies the information about the project in your memory. It allows you to see the fine structure of the work and find out ways to use time that would otherwise be wasted. And finally, it gives you a sense of psychological momentum that helps you keep